Hi, I am Arunima. I'm a part of the Atmadhruti family. Atmadhruti is an organization that creates spaces where individuals, especially students and young adults, can discover their authentic selves, navigate life's challenges with resilience, and unlock their fullest potential. In line with this vision, we are launching Unblocked, a podcast platform designed to bring forward voices, aspirations, fears, beliefs, struggles, and dreams of the younger generation. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Arinjoy Singh Gupta. I am a second year student pursuing my bachelor's degree in biotechnology research. I love singing and I adore writing. I love reading about different things, mythology, general facts, politics, and I am obsessed with dinosaurs.
That's really good to hear. So, the impression I'm getting of you is Orange is someone who likes knowledge. Not just likes, he absolutely adores knowledge. He's a researcher. He likes studying about mythology, about random things. He likes dinosaurs. So tell me, Orange, how did this love for knowledge come to be?
I think it's just I think there are two aspects to this. The first is a few of the things I read about are in terms of my interests. So the topic naturally just pulls me. And some things which may not be within my area of interest, just some things or facts that I read, it's so mind boggling to realize that, wow, these things actually happen, which feel utopian but aren't actually utopian. So, yeah, that's the.
So Orange is someone who loves reading about utopian things.
True.
So I will take you to the exact opposite side. Okay? Where there's no dinosaurs, there's no cool thing, but there's something that is very real in everyone's life. That is money and finances. So tell me, what does Orange think of finance, money, whatever? What are your thoughts?
I am, if I have to put it simply, I am very oblivious to money and finances. Um, because I don't actively manage my finance. I think I'm a little too young for that. But I do take care of my pocket money, trying not to overspend.
It's good. It's a very good habit because I think, especially as you said, you are too young to think about money and finances, but this is how you learn, right? With by managing pocket money, you learn to want to manage your salary, your investments. So you are telling me that you are a bit oblivious towards these things. But I would like to still ask, have you ever felt that you are not doing fine and you had to pretend you are doing fine in terms of money or finances? Has this ever been an issue where you had to, like, oh, okay, and kind of move on?
Uh, I've never had to face the situation that hurt me or made me sad. I mean, yeah, there have been times when I was applying for universities, uh, there were some areas where there were financial constraints. But that didn't really break me or make me disappointed because I had so many more options. So I wouldn't call that a setback because essentially I had another option which I could consider and I did consider. So I've never had to pretend if I'm okay or I'm not because most of the times I've been okay.
It's really a blessing, and it's really good that you took that not as a setback, like it's just another option. If it goes away, I have something else. So, how are these something else options going on? I like
Oh,
that.
it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
That's great. So, money, it doesn't only involve us, it sometimes involves how we show up. Has it ever happened that how you show up in front of friends or among your peers, among others, has money ever been an issue in that?
It's never been an issue that's directly affected me. Um, but I've seen a difference in the overall mentality in around my circle, social circle. It's not a recent incident. It's, I think, around 10 years back. So we didn't have a car at that time. So one day randomly I was at school, we were just discussing, I think it was an outing we were planning. And we were discussing who's going to show up at what time, how are we going to transport. And I just fleetingly mentioned that, oh, I think I'll have to come with someone because we don't have a car. That statement was it was an in general statement for me, because it didn't matter if I had a car or not, because we used to travel otherwise a lot and we never really required a car. But I saw like people who I was conversing with, they gave me such a shocked look. Like, what? You don't have a car? And I'm like, yeah, it's never been an issue. So I went back home that evening and I told my mom, mom, we were just talking and I just mentioned that we don't have a car, and a few of my friends were like, what? So that shock was interesting, because I never faced an issue. I never thought it was a problem. But there was a distinct shift in how others responded to that. So I think that shift was something that surprised me a lot.
Yeah, because to you, it was not a matter.
Never.
Thus, and how did you react to that situation in that moment when they were very shocked?
I was very neutral. I was like, oh yeah, we don't really need a car. I mean, we have other options of traveling, and it's never been a disadvantage for us. So I was very realistic at that time, and I knew many of them had cars, so some of them had more than one car. But that difference was evident, and it seemed to affect them more than it affected me.
So you just let them have that reaction.
Yeah.
You just didn't react. That's a very good way of, dealing with peer pressure. Like, let them have the pressure.
Exactly.
I'll just keep my peers. That's really nice. So, there's something else I want to ask you. In general, in society, we see that there are these invisible lines. Like, we feel comfortable towards people who are similar to us. Has it ever happened that someone a little not so similar with you in terms of finances, and you have felt a bit awkward interacting in certain circles?
Not really, because most of the circles that I've been, we share very common situations, very similar in our approach, even when it comes to money. But there have been a few incidents where I've been a little shocked at how extensively a few people are spending in my group. Because I would generally have a budget when I'm, say, spending over food, which I may overspend at times. But that would shock me even for little things which won't really matter. There have been overspending. There are a few incidents where not just me, but a few others who agree and we see eye to eye. We've pointed it out to someone who might be overspending without knowing, or because they're just being too generous. So that's been there have been such incidents, but it's never made things awkward between us. Because there's always people within the group and within the circle who are ready to check each other and tell if something might be wrong or if there needs to be some kind of intervention.
It's really great that you have such a close group where people can step up when someone else needs a check or needs an intervention. So, you mentioned that a few people may sometimes, out of generosity or out of just not knowing or not realizing, they can overspend. So, here I want to hear your thoughts on financial responsibility. Like, how do you see financial responsibility in your life, in your generation?
That is a very, very difficult question. Because I think there are many aspects to that. Because there are people like me who aren't as involved in their finances. Then there are people who are heavily investing in stocks and mutual funds and all those things. I think there's a basic idea that we need to be careful with our funding and funds. I don't know if I'll be talking for the entire generation because there may be people who disagree with me. But I think there is a significant amount of awareness of how to manage, even if not your savings or investments, but at least your pocket money, how you're going to deal with that, which I think is the first step to actually figuring out your finances, keeping a proper budget. If I had to talk with respect to my social groups, we are sort of similar. We try to keep a budget. Sometimes if we're overspending, we cry to each other. Like, oh my God, I've gone above my budget this month. And then we laugh it off and have ice cream. But then there are times where we actually get serious and try to be a little more aware. I think things like financial literacy play a huge role in those things. I think schools nowadays are introducing that as a subject from, I think, middle school itself. So that's a really good thing because we'll get to know about taxes and all those things, which you kind of learn later on. If we have an early exposure to that, I think that's really helpful because we are still learning. We're in the learning stage. We're still not actively handling our finances. But if we have an idea of how to do it, I think that's really, really helpful.
That's really a good answer because, like you mentioned, that learning these things from early age really helps a person, have that complete development of themselves. So, like you mentioned, sometimes you or your friends would overspend a little, and then sometimes you'd get serious, or sometimes you'd get ice creams. So, do you have rules for yourself around your finance or your pocket money? Like, do you set up rules for yourself on how to manage yourself?
I do have a specific budget per month, which includes all my spending that I do, whether it is recreational or whether it is something that I heavily need, maybe college or maybe accessories, dresses. Everything comes in within that budget. So I try to keep that in mind. Otherwise, I don't think I hope to follow that. I try to follow that. Most of the times I do follow that. But sometimes here or there's a little bit of, I overspend. So that's there. But I think most of the times I'm pretty good at managing that.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question more. You are saying you're studying biotechnology, right? So, students' loans I have seen among college students, that becomes a point of stress for some people. Like, I have to get a job so I can pay off my students' loans. Have you seen that in your experience, like someone dealing with that pressure that, I need to get a job because I have these loans?
Not that I recall. At least not. First of all, I've not seen anyone within my social circle who's facing that problem. Um, and I don't recall seeing those situations even around my college. I think it might be a case that someone has gone through that, but they're keeping it quiet, or it's just that that does not exist.
Keeping quiet, because a lot of the times when we are going through some hard choices or hard situations in life, we like to keep things to ourselves. There's this stigma of shame around it, and especially around something like money or finances. So, from your perspective, where do you think this stigma comes from? Because you are on the opposite spectrum, right? Like you said, you're very chill about money. So, where do you think this stigma or this shame, these negative feelings come from?
I think there will be a multifaceted answer to that, because I don't think it's just the stigma and shame that's surrounding this situation. I think some people just don't feel like telling others about their problems. I think they feel like they'll be able to manage it themselves, and they don't want to burden other people with their problems. And some people are really good at it. If I had to talk about the stigma, though, I think um, there's a distinct difference in how different generations look at money and maybe the inequality of money. Uh, I would say like older generations have a more conservative view. They're not really, because I mean, if we look at it historically as well, there's always been a very distinct shift. And I think our generation is much more open-minded when it comes to monetary matters. But I do feel like there's still this inherent feeling of, if I'm not as good as them, I don't think I'll be accepted. So I think that kind of shifts the narrative and further fuels the stigma that we have, where people facing monetary issues or financial issues, they're hesitant to talk to people within their own social groups, because probably they've faced it before and they don't want to face that same experience that may have hurt them, even though they're comfortable with the social groups they are in. Maybe it's past experiences, or maybe it's something that's transcended over generations. But I do think like our generation is much more open-minded when it comes to these things.
From the conversation I had with you, I do agree with that. Okay, now I have a question. Imagine that money is not an issue. It just doesn't exist. Money is no constraint. How do you think your life looks like?
I think there won't be any significant difference. I'll probably have a larger collection of dinosaur models at home.
Okay.
And probably I might be pursuing something alongside my current course, because I love what I'm doing. I would probably be studying music or maybe English literature alongside biotechnology. So maybe that, but I wouldn't change anything otherwise, because I'm really happy where I am right now. And I don't think money would make a difference, because I am glad with whatever I have.
I am so much in awe of your answers, because you have this calmness in you. Use the word harmony around here. You have that harmony where you are very secure in who you are, in your surroundings, and I think that's very rare. You have an exceptional maturity. What I'm gonna ask is, this is from me. Say you had to give people a small advice on how to gain this harmony or how to have this chill perspective around finance, around life, what would that one advice be?
That is a very big thing to ask.
Just imagine you're saying it to me.
I would probably, I think it's really important to just be yourself. At the end of the day, you have yourself, and what people think of you shouldn't matter to you. It shouldn't be like you're hurt by someone's criticism. Of course, constructive criticism should make you learn from things. But if you feel like people are being cynical or you sense a tone of sarcasm, just ignore it. And I think just trusting your instincts, but realizing if you need help, when to ask for help, I think that's really, really important.
That's a very good answer. Thank you, Arinjoy. I have absolutely enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.